Hello everyone, Pavlo with you, and today I've got for you a scientifically measured daily dose of Ukrainian accent, because today we are talking about really science-heavy product. It's a new true wireless earphones created by famous company Final Audio. They are available now on Kickstarter for $2,070 until December 12th, but then they will be sold for $330. Most likely you are familiar with Final Audio. It's a company that put a lot of efforts in the research, and they came out with a really unique and unusual thing. Of course, we already seen some efforts to adjust earphones to your hearing or your preferences, but they went much further in that. So, in real life, our brain is trained or used to perceive sound with all reflections from our outer ear, with all nuances of our head geometry, but in headphones and earphones we are losing this information. So Tonalite, with the help of their application, does a 3D scan of your head and ears, then measure your ear channels, and send all that to Final Audio servers where this information is processed, and the special DTAS model of your head is built. DTAS means digital twin audio simulation. Then this model is sent to the earphones and they use it to adjust the sound based on all these measurements. So this all sounds really interesting, but let's talk about what this technology gives to us. Box is minimalistic, but it's that type of minimalistic that you can see that effort was put to make it this way. Just pure white with some lines, some patterns, and it's really smooth and pleasantly opens. So first you're getting manual in case you want to read it, then goes earphones themselves, and then underneath you'll get two boxes with different accessories. So let's take them out, one and two. So here are ear tips for these earphones. So I want to open them without much damage to the package, but most likely, yeah, I will fail with that spectacularly, as usual. Unfortunately, I did break them, so let's try to not make it even worse. So I don't really like these things. Okay, so you'll get four different pair of tips, and they are pretty unusual. You can see it's some kind of mix between classical silicone tips and foam ones. Also, you'll get a pair of additional wings to put on these earpieces to provide better seal, and a generous set of additional filters if you want to replace them, because with time they can get some mud or dirt or something like that. And also you'll get this package with everything you'll need to set up this digital twin audio system. So it contains a headband or hairband and AR marker sticker. I won't be focusing too much in this video on the process of DTAS setup. Final Audio created excellent video and you'll get manual in their application. It will take like 15-20 minutes or so, but it's pretty straightforward. Basically, you need to put these AR stickers on the headband, put it on your head, and then using camera of your smartphone, you'll need to move your smartphone around your head, and the application will capture your face, and actually not face, head and ears, and will create this model. And also will do some measurements, but video made by Final Audio will be in the description. Design is typical for the final audio in terms of colors and the materials. I won't be surprised if they will release white version after some time. They often do it with their other true wireless models. Here they also used this nice plastic they used everywhere. It has a really pleasant texture. I really enjoy it in terms of tactile feelings. And also I like that case is pretty slim. It's not small in terms of frontal projection, but at the same time it's slim and fitting nicely into pocket. Here is USB Type-C for charging. Also, it supports wireless charging, which is pretty nice. And here are 4 LED indicators showing charge level. So, pretty interesting location. And nice metal hinge. Here lid opens and you can pull out earpieces themselves. So there is plenty of space inside, so if you'd like you can use some third-party tips, but probably stock ones will provide better sound isolation. But also, of course, Final Audio are well known for their tips, and I really like their Type E tips and use them often. So, in terms of shape, they are a bit unusual, but thanks to the pretty long spout and this part, they're fitting nicely into ears, at least into mine, and I am able to wearing them comfortably. There are a lot of different holes and openings on the earpieces for different microphones, for this DTAS feature, for noise cancellation and stuff like that. They have really basic IPX4 rating of water protection, meaning that they won't be broken by your sweat or by a few drops of rain, but definitely not a great idea to like dive with them or actually to immerse them in water. Here are 2 bumps, one on each earpiece, and they're not mechanical buttons as I've thought initially. It just sensor controls, but thanks to that tactile feeling, you can easily find them and control playback and stuff like that. Here are these rubber wings that provides additional fit. Also, they have sensors whether they are in ears or not. So if you take them out, they can pause music. There is a lip for holding the tips and the protective grill, so all parts are at their places. And actually you can see that spouts have 2 different parts. One is for sound and second one is for the feed-forward microphone they are using for the sound adjustment. Overall, pretty comfortable for me. Also, I like the look, but of course it's a bit subjective thing. Battery lifetime is up to 8 hours. I've got usually slightly less, about 6 hours, from 6 to 7, but it also depends on what Bluetooth codec are you using, noise cancelling level, and so on. So in general, it's average lifetime, which is pretty normal in my opinion. They are holding connection really well, even when there are a lot of interference outside. So overall, in terms of all external things, I think earpieces are really nice. Here is a companion app. It doesn't work on my players that I usually use to showcase things like that. So I have to use my iPad, most likely because this application requires access to camera to create this DTAS profile. It's not perfectly fit into the iPad interface, as you can see. Photo a bit not centered, but anyway, you'll have product photo, battery status of both earpieces, then DTAS settings. Here you can toggle between general and personalized profile. Profile is stored on the earpieces themselves, so after it calculated and applied, you don't have to use them only with the device you used to create this profile. Then in the reference you can select reference plus and reference minus, meaning that it's and just reference, so three levels of applying this profile with different effect. And actually a nice feature that I really like, you can create guest profile, for example, for your wife or spouse, or I don't know, kids, or anywhere else. So you can create guest profile without deleting your main one. So it's nice and well thought idea. Here in noise control, you can select between noise cancelling and ambient sound. And if this DTAS profile is applied, it automatically switches to sound quality. When it's not applied, you can select two levels of noise cancelling: better noise cancelling or better sound quality. So in sound quality mode, it's just like average active noise cancelling, pretty good for some monotone noises, but not great with some random noises around you. And with that focus on the noise cancelling, it gets better, cancelling random noises also better. Not like perfect noise cancelling, but still pretty okay for vast majority of cases. Transparency mode is kind of normal. There is a bit of this underwater-like effect, but not too much. Then another nice feature, it's volume step optimizer. You can listen to music and use this optimizer to select a comfortable level for you, and then it will adjust volume steps to your preferences to give you best steps to regulate volume based on how loud you prefer to listen to music. Then multi-point connection, just on and off, and how it works. Then you have a 10-band equalizer. As you can see, a lot of pop-up screens explaining everything. So it works even with DTAS. You can apply equalizer on top of that if you want to change the sound in some way. Then you can select one of a few control schemas, pretty reasonably defined ones. So nice working, and firmware update. So basically all things you need for these earphones you're getting in this app. Traditional microphone test, recording this part of the video with earpieces in my ears. I won't apply here any gain correction or equalization, so this part will give you an idea how their microphones sound. And now let's talk about the sound, and the final audio are pretty consistent in the TWS tunings. I reviewed in the past their 3000 series of TWS and 8000 series. They all share same traits. They are pretty natural, but at the same time they have nice punch and they have pleasant accents to make sound musical, enjoyable, and pretty realistic. And basically, Tonalite is not an exception. They just put this DTAS technology on top of this typical tuning. They said that they kept in mind their flagship in-ear monitor series in creating sound for the Tonalite. But I didn't test any of their flagship IEMs, so can't say how well they succeed, but results appeared to be really interesting. I spent a bunch of time listening to them with and without this DTAS technology and sound personalization, and I can say that this personalization works. Of course, it's not some kind of trick or some marketing stunt. It definitely works, but and it helps you to immerse deeper into music. But at the same time, it doesn't work with all music records because, for example, it's great with vocals, with some kind of instrumental music, sometimes with orchestra, with some rock music, but at the same time it doesn't work great with, for example, aggressive brutal metal, or I don't know, with actually modern pop music that is mastered to be listened in some uh, cheap earphones via streaming or something like that, where everything is compressed and so on. So it really depends on type of material, and sometimes it works great. Sometimes it just works, and sometimes I prefer to keep it off. But actually, on my media library, it's mostly working. Except of metal, of course, because genre built on the maximum distortion and aggression probably doesn't require more realism and immersion. Actually, it requires immersion, but it's a different type of immersion. But probably let's speak about everything step by step. So, in terms of bass, I really like final audio tuning in the earphones. And probably not everyone will like it because they don't have noticeably boosted bass in terms of quantity. But at the same time, they deliver great quality, they deliver nice punch, resolution, and texturing, good depth, but at the same time, deeper bass is not dominating. It's present to build like foundation, but you won't get that super powerful rumble, skull shaking effect, or something like that. So definitely not a bass head type of tuning. And what is interesting, Final Audio said that this DTAS technology works with basically mid and high frequencies and not impacting bass. But at the same time, when you change mids and highs, actually perception of bass will anyway change. So activating this personalization made bass a bit snappier for me. I don't know what was the trick and how high and mid frequencies change impact that, but at the same time I've got this effect. So let's talk about the examples. And first one, it's a track where I really liked how this personalization worked, because the you're getting a bit more of this, rough live version type of sounding. You're getting a bit less of, neutrality, but at the same time, it's like you was on the concert somewhere in the middle of the audience, and suddenly you moved like half an audience forward. You're getting closer to the music. You're getting tighter bass. You're getting more textured bass guitars, and I liked how personalization worked with this track. And Instant Crush by Daft Punk. Actually, here personalization, it does change sound because it became more airy, but at the same time, bass doesn't change much. Here, it with or without personalization, it's tight, impactful, pleasant, and pretty well controlled overall. So just it's pretty good. And mid frequencies is where this thing starts working. Mids are really balanced. They have good detalization, but at the same time, they're not trying to be focused on the micro contrast, and that makes a lot of sense with true wireless earphones, because in case of TWS earphones, making focus on the micro contrast will give you all the artifacts of lossy compression of Bluetooth codecs. And they have a good resolution, nice detalization, and this personalization pretty noticeably changes the stage. By default, it's above average in width, noticeably above average, and slightly above average in depth. And when you turn on this personalization, you're getting like more depth, you're getting a bit more 3D effect with more precise instruments positioning. But of course, keep in mind that stage is subjective thing, and your results can be different because it's based on the psychoacoustics. It's what I hear with them. Really good balance, meaning that they are not super critical for the quality of records, but at the same time, typical thing here, better material, better outcome. Really nice emotional vocal. Final audio are in general are great working with macro dynamics, with transitions, with some epic tunes and so on. They're not trying to create like natural monitoring dry sound, and probably that's excellent choice from their side, because they delivering nice balance between emotions and the realism. And first example, Ashes to Ashes by David Bowie. Really great emotions, as I've said, and with immersion, you get more like separation of Bowie's vocal from the rest of instruments. You're getting a slightly better sense of realism and immersion into the track. And the second example, it's Dream Theater, Dances of Eternity, really complex track with a lot of things going on. And here I was not sure about actually what version I like more, with or without personalization, because with personalization I've got slightly more effect of live performance, with better positioning of musicians, with more rough emotions. I described that with it's not a live version, but turning on personalization like immerse you into the track and giving you more sense of live presence on the event. Maybe I'm a bit used to sound of this track without personalization, but I prefer it. Actually, not prefer. It's more like traditional without personalization, more like I used to listen to it, because even without personalization, Tonalite, always want to call them Tonalite, but company said that it should pronounce more like on French manner. And Tonalite, even without this personalization, are a great true wireless earphones with nice and balanced sound and all expertise of final audio. But with personalization, you're getting like more immersion. Maybe it's a matter of getting used to. And the treble actually a strong side of final audio in general, and these earphones at all. It has a really nice extension, good detalization. I've heard the complaints that they became too bright. Maybe I'm not sensitive enough. For me, they are normal. Not they are slightly brighter than average, but not too much for me. And also they have equalizer, so if they appear to be too bright for you, you can just reduce high frequencies and deal with that. But I'm just describing my experience, and for me they were comfortable, not overly bright. But probably for someone sensitive for high frequencies, it could be an issue, especially with personalization, because with personalization you're getting more clarity in high frequencies, more airiness, and actually more layering. I'm not sure how this model works for the final audio. They even published scientific paper about that, but it gives me a bit better decays and more sense of realism and overtones in the instruments. And first example for the high frequencies, I'm Old-Fashioned by John Coltrane. Actually, here it's like absolutely 100% with personalization, because you're getting more accent on Coltrane himself, and you're getting more of that treble overtones, and I like how it sounds. And also, I Burn For You live. With live tracks, usually personalization works great. You're getting more immersion, you're getting more emotions, and you're getting more realism. So this one is not an exception, and I like how personalization works here. I don't think there is much sense in doing some comparisons of these earphones with other true wireless models in this price segment, because their main goal, their main idea behind these earphones, of course, this TTAS technology. Without this technology, it's a really good true wireless earphones. If you heard the Final Audio 8000, for example, you understand that they are capable of delivering great value in true wireless world. But at the same time, in this price range, there are other models like some affordable Noble audio models, DVLA, and others that also can do an impressive sound. But here main feature is DTAS, and It's a really impressive technology overall because, of course, amount of work put behind it is absolutely mind-blowing. At the same time, I can't say that it's like absolutely life-changing technology and your life will never be the same. Yes, it's really interesting. It works great with many tracks. But at the same time, with some tracks, it doesn't do much. It's totally a matter of your preferences. Do you like to experience something new and unusual or not? So after a week spent with these earphones, I'm sold. I like this DTS technology. I like it as it present in these earphones. And of course, I'm looking forward more products with this thing implemented. Earphones themselves works nice, reliably. Only issue I had with them is that this insertion sensor was not always perfect working, but I suppose it will be fixed with some firmware updates. But other than that, I think for the current Kickstarter price, it's a really good offering. But still, of course, you need to consider your openness for unusual experiments. But I enjoyed it quite much, so that was my experience with them. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a great day.